Welcome to my channel. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel and to an episode of Missing Kids. In a bit, we're going to start discussing the tragic case of Donna Stern and Wendy Tedford, two young ladies who did happen to vanish in 1973, but were later found in not so wonderful conditions at all. But first, I'd like to try a little tiny taste test, and I'm guessing that this is going to be delicious. It's the pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, and I did consider getting the pecan crunch with oat milk, but I'm not such a fan of oat milk, or the apple crisp macchiato, but again, the oat milk will be an issue with me. I should try it anyway, but, maybe I'll save that for the future. But right now, today, here and now, I'm trying the pumpkin spice latte. Oh, that's very, very good. I like it. It doesn't have such a sweet aftertaste, but I can taste that cinnamon and the foam of the cream. I did not add the whipping cream, thank goodness for that, but it's just right. It's got just the right touch of cinnamon, and I absolutely love the taste of pumpkin. So, cheers! So guys, before I start, I have to mention today is Halloween, but I won't be uploading this in time for Halloween. So I believe that the episode that I'm going to be uploading for Halloween, or as close to Halloween as I can possibly get, is the last part of the Amanda Todd case. And we're also going to be discussing her legacy and Coban's trials. So I hope that you caught that. By now, that will have already been up for a while. And so I hope that you did enjoy that trilogy that I put out a while back. And so, okay, it's time to get started on Donna and Wendy's story. So this story took place in the early 70s here in my city, and Donna Stern and Wendy Tedford were two typical 17-year-olds of the 70s, and Donna was born on September the 10th, 1955 in Owen Sound. And so that was a long time ago. It actually happened in 1973. Some of the hit songs that spring were by Aerosmith, Stardust, Diana Ross, Carly Simon, and my all-time favorite, Elton John's, especially his Crocodile Rock, which would have been very popular in 1973. Now, Donna was a high school senior at the Downsview Secondary School, very close by to my house. And get this, guys, it was the same school that Amanda Todd attended before she moved out west to British Columbia. So I would say, boy, this school has been giving out some very depressing vibes, even though I know people who attended that high school and they had a great time. They've been having a great life. And so I don't know where the bad vibes are actually coming from. And so as for Donna was hoping to get into college, and she loved to sing and paint, but she loved animals and wanted to be a veterinarian. And so that month, she was painting a picture of a bridge at dusk to give to her mother. That spring, Donna was looking so forward to summer and applied to be a camp counselor at a camp that was operated by the People's Church, where she attended Mass and sang in a choir. Now, as for Wendy, her situation was a little different from Donna's, and in 1971, 2 years prior to this story taking place, her dad passed away, and so she dropped out of high school, guys. And at the moment, when this story takes place, Wendy was employed at a very old department store, which was Towers department store, but she worked in a corporate office and not right at the store. And so she had recently moved in with her sister, Shirley, and Shirley's 4-year-old son. So we did another story that had a similar context to it. A story where a girl vanished when she went home to visit her parents. And so, but this is not like that story. Wendy was born on May the 13th, 1955, and so that makes the girls very close in age. And she worked with Shirley, her sister, at the office, which was on Orpheus Road, which is very close to a very famous mall, Yorkdale Shopping Mall. Wendy was happiest when painting or putting together a model car, and she loved doing those things. Wendy was also especially good with her younger sister, Karen, her baby sister, who was still at home with her mother. Wendy also had 2 other sisters and 2 brothers, and she also had a boyfriend, and she claimed to be deeply, madly in love with him. And so I'm wondering why she wasn't with him that day. I'm not sure. Like Donna, Wendy's boyfriend was sort of on again, off again. Wendy also talked about how the 2 of them would be getting married when she turned 18. And so her birthday was coming up soon on May the 12th, which was, at that time, less than a month away. And so, guys, this story actually takes place, this tragic event took place on Thursday, April the 26th, 1973. And so, however, the two girls never imagined that it would be the last day of their life. And so neither girl would make it to the summertime, guys, let alone an 18th birthday. Now, according to Donna's father, Donna left home on Thursday, April the 26th, 1973, around 7 p.m. in the early evening, with school books. Donna planned to spend the night at Wendy's house, and that night, for the evening, the two girls decided to go to a bazaar in the Young and College streets on the evening of April the 26th, 1973. After that, they decided that they would go mall shopping at Yorkdale. So Shirley, Wendy's sister, last saw the girls around 7:30 p.m. that night when they left Wendy's house. After walking around at the bazaar, the two girls rode a bus back to the mall into this area. Where they went, guys, was sort of downtown. They went into the central part of our city here, and it's a really nice part of the city. But then after that bazaar, which took place in that central part of the city, they went to Yorkdale. And so it was not unheard of for these two girls to party and stay out all night. Mind you, that was a school night. At least for Donna it was. This sort of partying wasn't a common occurrence, but it did happen once in a while, once every so often. And so I'm sure they were good girls. However, this particular time, this particular day, that particular evening, the two girls did not party all night. As a matter of fact, they were last seen in the Kiel and Wilson area at the Sit and Eat Diner, which was very close at that time to the Downsview Secondary School. And it would have been right by my area now, although I wasn't living anywhere near here when this story occurred. I was just a child living out of the city, just on the outskirts of the city. And so I'm trying to imagine that diner, but I have no recollection of it because I was never there. It closed down quite a decade or two ago. And so I have obviously no recollection of it at all. And yeah, because it sounds like it might have been my kind of place. So the girls were last seen around 10:45 in the evening. Wow. They were ordering Cokes at this Sit and Eat Diner. The last time that they were ever seen or heard from. Alive, that is. Did not stay at the diner very long, and no one noticed exactly when they left. And so, that's weird. I guess there weren't many witnesses around at that time. I'm not sure. But I am so curious about the context of this diner with respect to Donna, and why I emphasize Donna's relationship with this diner would be because it was so close to her school. Okay, not very close, maybe a major block away. It would have been a walk or an easy bus ride. And so I'm wondering maybe if it was some sort of hangout for her, some sort of special place where she met up with specific school chums or other types of friends. I don't know. And there is no information out there on this diner with respect to Donna Stern. Guys, this diner was so precious and very cool. Definitely my kind of place. I do remember that my late aunt had a house right up the street from there. And although I don't remember the diner, I do remember that we used to eat at another place very close by, and it had just the same sort of vibes that this place I'm talking about would have had. It was kind of like a vintage 50s style diner. It was so cute, guys. And I wish that they had more of those around, whether it be old or new. It doesn't matter, but I love those vibes. You know what I mean? I love the retro theme. I just adore feeling as though I've taken a step back into the past. And, I probably end up not eating much or drinking much at a place like that. I just want to, soak in the atmosphere and the vibes of the place. Now, I know that the Sit and Eat Diner in its day was popular, and it has been closed now for a while. And so the only kind of information I can get online is that it's been closed for at least a decade. But I am imagining it would have been longer than that, because I've been living in this area for over 2 decades, and I don't remember it. I don't recall it. Now I know that area, I probably will show you. It's developed now, and it was a little more remote in those days, but it was always a very urban and highly populated area. And so it was a lot of, mostly businesses, small, privately owned businesses, stores, and whatever have you. A lot of bars and restaurants. And so, it was a very happening neighborhood. Linda Harris, one of Wendy's sisters, worried when she didn't hear from Wendy or see Wendy at all. I guess Linda and Wendy were planning on meeting up, and it just never happened. She called Wendy's place of work at the Towers office and on Friday, and she learned that her sister never actually made it into work that day, in the morning. And so right away something was off for Linda, and she also realized that Wendy never called home. She never checked in with her mom, either that day or the night before. And so nobody actually knew what was going on, what to think. And so, in other words, guys, Donna and Wendy were missing. By morning, they were evidently missing. They had been missing since apparently 10:45 p.m. the evening before. Definitely, Linda knew something was quite wrong and out of the ordinary for her sister Wendy, and so she picked up the phone and called the police. It was just around 9 o'clock a.m. that morning of the 27th, and she just knew that something was very wrong. Meanwhile, however, unknown to Linda or any of her other Wendy or Donna's family members, at 7:30 a.m., the bodies of two young girls were found in an empty industrial lot on Wilson Avenue, just east of Kiel, 2 kilometers from the diner where they went, the Sit and Eat diner. And so what happened was that early in the morning, a 10th grader, a 15-year-old boy named Tony, was on his way to ball practice early at school. And he was walking along, and he noticed on the ground a copious amount of blood. What he actually did was he carefully took a few more steps forward and finally realized that the girls, lifeless, were lying side by side, but it was gruesome, guys. Tony did not take a good long look because he couldn't, and he was so scared. He ran for help at a nearby construction site, and so it was eventually discovered that both of the girls had been executed with gunshot wounds. And so how tragic is that? Now, how on earth would two young 17-year-olds be involved with such a gruesome criminal who would have gunned them down like that? I just don't understand it. It was quite an ordeal for the family, and what those two girls must have gone through. Of course, in no way, shape, or form did either of them deserve that. So, Wendy apparently was shot twice, right here, and she was lying face down with her arms by her sides. Donna was shot once here, right here, in the back of the head, and was lying on her back. Both girls were fully clothed and had very small amounts of cash in their purses. I'm not sure if they had shopped or purchased anything throughout the night. That's all the article claims, and I couldn't find any different information about it anywhere, so I'm going with this version. There were no actual signs of assault or robbery, which would have been the logical reason why they would have been, so seriously harmed like that. But there were no outward signs of any sort of assault other than being shot. And so there was DNA found at the site, and it was tested against the girls' on again, off again boyfriends. So neither of them matched up. Neither boyfriend's DNA matched up. And I'm kind of not surprised because I don't think either of them, if the girls were going with them, they wouldn't have been shot like that by those guys. It just doesn't make any sense. As the two boyfriends being tested for the DNA that was left at the site and on the girls, 70 other people that were involved, so to speak, in the case were also tested. Nothing ever matched up, guys. And so, to this day, the police have 0 matches on the National DNA data bank for this case and 42 other cold cases. So that DNA has never been found. So probably what happened was either that person that committed the crime passed away or went to jail or something like that, and so was never had a chance to leave other DNA. If that person is still around, I'd say the pretty smart guy to have outsmarted the detectives back in 73 before the technology ever even existed. I'm assuming that something must have happened to the criminal because he never popped up again, DNA-wise or anything like that. And so, yeah, this is a cold case of 2 young women who were still children and were found violently transpired, and nobody knows how. Well, we know how, but we don't know why or who. And 1973, that's a long time ago, and it's still a cold case, guys. Heather, a woman who lived close by to where the girls were found, claimed to have heard 2 gunshots around midnight, just as the 26th of April turned into the 27th. And Anne, another neighbor, heard distant thuds like something hitting the ground at around 11 p.m. So that's about an hour and 15 minutes away from when they were last seen at the diner. So something definitely happened, probably at the diner. Not violently, but you know what I'm saying? It probably all began at the diner, either right when they were leaving or just outside the door, or who knows what happened. Too bad we don't have more information on this. However, guys, about a year later, a .38 Colt revolver was found by a road in Windsor, Ontario, outside of my city. It's another city. And it was identified as the same gun that had been used in the crimes against Wendy and Donna. And it was linked also to a break-in in Windsor. And so this person who was responsible wasn't a citizen of the city. It was a citizen of another city. And so I'm guessing that maybe that citizen either he passed away, as I suggested before, went to jail, or moved to another state or country. I don't know. No other crimes had been linked to that specific gun, but it is suspected that a Windsor motorcycle gang could have been involved, probably because of the people who were in the city. There was an investigation, and so people who were in the city at that time were found to be of this gang. And so regardless of the identity of these persons who committed this crime against these 2 girls, it still doesn't make any sense, guys. It doesn't make any sense. And so very definitely, this case is still an unsolved cold case. Wendy's family has been very traumatized by the whole criminal episode. And little Karen was just 12 years old when Wendy was sadly taken away with Donna from the world. Both of these girls left families that were torn apart over this and missed them so much. Can you imagine not having any closure? Having your daughter, niece, sister brutally taken from you like that and not knowing who or why. It just doesn't make any sense. There's never a closure for these two families that were tragically involved in this entire episode. And I find it very tragic. And I know that I've said this before, but my entire city is becoming too full of criminal scenarios. I used to really feel much better off, not knowing any of these horrible things that happened in my landscape, the landscape that I drive through every day. And it's becoming a real tragic place for me. And so, I wish that we could come to the bottom of this criminal case and put some closure behind us, especially for the sake of the families. And, it would be devastating to continue on not knowing exactly who did this or why. However, there is still much hope, as detectives claim, that this person will eventually be found. The person who committed the crime will eventually be found, and maybe we just haven't looked in all the right places yet. Maybe the person is sitting right under our noses, or maybe this person is long gone. We don't know. But if you recall the Christine Jessup case, that case was solved after the death of the person responsible, and it was a shocker. So, I'm just hoping that we have another stroke of luck like that, where we will be able to put the finger on the criminal and solve the case at long last. found the school. It's Downsview Secondary School. And this is the school that Donna Stone attended, and just all the way up until the time that she transpired. And incidentally, it's the same school that Amanda Todd, before she left the city, she attended this high school as well. So, Downsview Secondary School obviously turned out two of the most tragic students' lives that I could possibly imagine. It's so coincidental, and yet decades apart, they met with different fates, but both very tragic. So have a look, and I tried to find a date, but I couldn't. I'm imagining it's quite an old school. So I'm not sure if it's as old as my old elementary school, but it's pretty old. Incidentally, it's not, the location is important. Number one, it's not the school that I actually thought my friends' children attended, but it's a different school. I confused the two. And so this school is, it's important for me to point it out because in Donna's case, she would have had to walk up to the main street, which is Keel, and make her way either left or right from here to that diner, which I can't locate right now, but I'm pretty sure I know it was probably just past Keel. So she might have had to take maybe more than one bus. No, I'm not sure. She probably walked up to Keel and then took the bus up to the diner, or walked. I don't know why I'm pointing this out. I know that it's got some importance because the diner's location, with respect to the school, indicates that something must have happened either before or after getting on the bus. That's the way I view it. And so that's why I thought it was important for me to pinpoint exactly where the school was in terms of being proximate to the diner. And so obviously a bus ride was necessary that evening on Thursday when the girls first vanished after going to the diner. So I'm imagining that it happened right before or right after getting off the bus. And so, yeah, I'm going to try to show you the intersection, but I have to make sure that I'm not in anybody's way. It's a very busy intersection, and the school itself is just a little way back into a residential street and not on the main street like I first suspected. So anyway, I'm going to let you have a quick look. Now, the diner would have been to our immediate left. So here we go. So I arrived at the point where I'm sure that it was just a short walk from Donna's school. And so I'm going to let you have a look at this little mall. And it doesn't look right to me, but don't forget, this was many decades ago. So yeah, let's have a look. So you can see what I mean, and I'm sorry that I'm filming from the inside of my car, but I don't want to go out there. There's a lot of people walking around, and I don't want to be in anybody's way, and I don't want to get wet either. And so, in showing you that, I also showed you the neighborhood scenario that Amanda Todd faced on a daily basis. Um, and I can't even begin to tell you how depressing that little strip mall made me feel. So hopeless. Um, I I just can't imagine waking up to that every day. Uh, I wish that there was something that the government would do about places like that. And I imagine in 1973, it must have been quite different. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. So anyway, also, I didn't show you where the bodies were found because there is no empty field there. There are some pretty vacant and empty lots in that intersection, but the way too much traffic. It's a very busy and bustling and happening area, so unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you that. And so, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this horrific mystery that still haunts us and my city to this day since 1973. And I hope that you tune in for more mysteries, more unsolved cases, as well as recipes and shopping hauls and cooking tutorials and whatever else I have for you. And so I will close this off with thank you very much for listening and watching. And if you aren't already, please don't forget to subscribe.